Okay.
Okay.
Now?
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to Alan's Italy. Tonight is a very special occasion because tonight is the 25th original show that we've done from Alan's Italy. We've actually done a total of 27, but 2 of them were repeats because of technical difficulties. So this is a special occasion, and to mark that occasion, I've decided to wear this hat. You're probably wondering, why am I wearing this hat? Well, the reason is that to commemorate the occasion, I've decided to wear the hat at least until I get tired of wearing it. So I'm not sure how long I'll wear it. It would be nice if I could get some feedback on whether people like the hat. I don't know if this is going to happen because I've requested feedback, and you know, it's slow in coming. But if you have some time and you have an opinion on, you know, whether the hat is appropriate, whether it looks decent on me, whether I shouldn't be wearing it, then please let me know. Again, alansitaly@gmail.com. Or you could even call the station at 679-7777. Thank you, Ellen. So that's, you know, that's the hat, and I'll wear it for a little while anyway. I like the hat, you know, and this hat is the hat that people see me in many of the pictures. It's impossible that somebody would want to say something so quickly. Good evening and welcome to Alan's Italy.
Could, could you please tell me why you're wearing the hat?
Why am I wearing the hat? I don't know. I like the hat. I think I look good with the hat. And you know, you don't like it, right?
No. I want to know why. Does it have a special meaning? Did you travel with the hat?
Special meaning with the meaning of the hat.
Yes.
I almost forgot to say that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'll get off the phone now. And
Okay.
yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, bye. I don't know. Am I supposed to tell people who that was? Because we know who that was, don't we? It was Laura. This is a special hat. I forgot I was going to mention this. This is a Tilly. This is the famous Tilly hat that I bought about 20 years ago, and it has a lifetime guarantee. And I wear the hat to keep the sun out, and I had a melanoma once, and my dermatologist told me to wear the hat to keep the sun away. But this has a lifetime guarantee. And there's an agreement that Tilly has that if you scratch the hat or if there's damage in any way to the hat, they will replace it. And I indeed sent the hat back to them once, and within 2 weeks got a brand new hat. So this is an amazing hat, and I certainly recommend it. And I just think I look good in it, and it's got like a place here to put your name, and if you lose it, it's supposed to be an agreement that you're supposed to return. This is like Apocalypse Varga when she gets all those calls. Alan's Italy, may I help you?
You look great in that hat. You look more like Steven Spielberg every day.
Thank you very much. You're a very wonderful supporter. I recognize your voice. Your name is Philip something or other, right?
It's who?
Philip something? No?
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
I support anything you do.
Okay.
You want to wear turban? It's okay.
Thank you, and with all due respects, I'll see you Tuesday night.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, Ed. A very special occasion because I expect this phone to keep ringing, actually, because maybe this is some sort of a plot that all my friends are now going to call me. So it's a plot. It's becoming a nightmare. Alan's Italy. What's going on here?
Wear the hat. It's you.
It is?
Yeah, just wear it. I love it.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I don't recognize the voice, but I have a feeling I may know who it is. But
You
I'd like to.
probably do, but wear the hat. It looks great. But if you get uncomfortable, take it off.
I will do that. I'm going to get on to my show now, okay?
All right.
All right. Thank
Take
you
care,
for calling.
Man. Right, bye.
Is there any way of disconnecting this phone? No, I'm only kidding. All right, so we could keep expecting phone calls. Who knows? I mean, that's the way things go with me. My life is very strange, and someday I'll tell you about it. The health care bill has passed the Supreme Court, and it was much to my shock when I woke up this morning that I found that the swing vote in this particular situation was Justice John Roberts, who was an arch conservative, appointed by George Bush, the second George Bush, and it was just shocking that, he was the vote because everybody thought it would be Anthony Kennedy. Now, what does this have to do with Italy? Is that my friend Luca and I are always having discussions on health care in the United States compared to health care in Italy, and the health care in Italy is universal, and it's a single payer system, and it's a great system, in my opinion. And I can now tell Luca, if you're watching, which I hope you are, that we are moving up and we're becoming as good a healthcare system as Italy. Maybe we'll move up from number 48 to number 47, eking ahead of Cuba as a better healthcare system. But this is a very good thing. Okay, now on with the show. And tonight's show, oh, what the heck is this? You never know with this. Oh, well, the Zoom is on. See, when this particular situation happened, 20 weeks ago, I panicked. I don't know if you remember that show, but I panicked. But now I know how to handle this. I am a pro. 1 second. Here we go. All righty. So tonight we are going to do a show called My Favorite Streets in Italy, Part 1. And the street that I selected to begin with is my favorite street in the world, and that is Via della Scala in Florence. And I'd like this to be a regular feature of just going into different streets. Some of them are really beautiful. Via della Scala, as you can see from this picture, is not a very beautiful street. But to me, it's a beautiful street, and I'll talk about that in just a few moments. But first, I'd like to revert back to a couple of pictures that you saw last week when I did Florence then and now. And what I did was, superimpose these two pictures of the Palazzo Vecchio in the Piazza della Signoria. The one on the right is the modern version, where you could see the statue of David right there in the middle, and the one on the left is the photo from the 1870s when David had been removed. Now this, as I told you last week, this fascinated me, this particular picture, because David stood on that spot, either the actual David or the copy of David, for hundreds and hundreds of years. So there was a 37-year period when David was not on that spot, and this is a close-up of the photo taken in the 1870s. And if you could, let me just use my pointer. This is the spot where David is supposed to be standing, where he stood from 1504 to 1873, and where he stood from 1910, the copy, till now. Here's the statue of Hercules. And this is just an amazing picture to me, because I've been to this piazza, probably hundreds of times, and I've walked past this spot, and it's an incredible spot that everybody loves. But to not see David there is really quite amazing. And I mentioned this to my friend Rick Hurst, whom you all know as having joined me on this show many times. And he, of course, in his, he's very zealous with, things that go on and getting it right. So he sent me this picture, and this is a picture that he found online of David being moved from the spot that he was in 1873 to the spot that he would stay from 1863 until the present, which is the Gelateria Accademia on the other side of town. Probably about, I would say, a quarter of a mile, maybe slightly more of a walk from this spot. Now, this was the most prized possession of all of Florence. It was a great piece of sculpture. They didn't want to break it. So they built a railroad tracks, as you could see, just for this occasion. And the railroad tracks went from the Piazza della Signoria all the way up to the Gelateria Accademia. And David, as you could see, is confined in that boxcar that was built especially for him. And he was wheeled all the way up to the original, to the spot where it is now, which is quite an incredible thing. This is an incredible photo, and I thank Rick very much for sending this to me. Now, the original concept of David being moved from the place that Michelangelo sculpted it, which was in the museum of the Duomo, of the workshop of the Duomo, to this spot was a much more difficult process, because that was done in the year 1504, and the people that moved it did it very gingerly. And I think that there were like a lot of people who were like making sure that David did not actually fall over, because that would have been a terrible tragedy. And they moved it to this spot. I don't have a picture of what that must have looked like. I tried to find that on the internet, but I couldn't. So I just found this to be really fascinating and wanted to show you as a follow-up to the last show that we had last week. This is where David is now, at a magnificent spot in the Gelateria Accademia that everybody enjoys. When you get a complete view of it, you can go right around the statue and see it from all the different angles. Okay, but here we are back in Florence. I sort of like Florence, as you know. And, there it is. I've showed you this map many times. By now you've probably memorized this. But that's Italy, and there's Florence right there in the middle, more towards the north. And this is a map of the city of Florence. There's, all the bridges and the center of town. And we are going to focus on this spot right here. And if you could see right there on the black line, there are 6 numbers. Those numbers indicate all the places I'm going to take you to on this great street, the Via della Scala in Florence. Here's a close-up of that street. As you can see, it starts at the Piazza Santa Maria Novella, and it continues really to the Via San Caterina di Siena. San Caterina is, I think, the patron saint of Siena. The street actually continues further, but I don't spend that much time on that other part of the street. This is the part of the street that I spend most of my time. And I'm going to cover a lot of different places along this street, but I've decided to focus on 6 places along the street. The gelato place on the corner, which is number 1, the Albergo Croce di Malta, Hotel Croce di Malta, which is number 2, and I put on the side, the number on Via della Scala. So the gelato place is number 2. The hotel is number 7, Via della Scala. But on the map that I have drawn there, number 3 is Gioia Chiara, which is Lydia's leather store at number 11, Via della Scala. Number 4 is the Officina Profuma, which I'll explain in a moment. Then Dolce Forte, which is a food specialty store. And finally, number 6 is La Grotto de Leo, which is one of my favorite restaurants in Florence. So let us begin with the Via della Scala. This is a good view of it. This is, one of the better views. It's not a beautiful street like some of the Lungarnos or some of the 15th century streets that wind through, the back streets of Florence. This is a very pedestrian street, a lot of traffic. It kind of connects where the bus station is and where the train station is to one of the most famous piazzas in Florence, the Santa Maria Novella. And this is a view of one of the outdoor restaurants. Well, it's an indoor restaurant with an outdoor section in the nice weather. And, this is a good view of it. This is not such a good view. This is the view that I remember, and that's the hotel over there on the left with the motorcycles and, and the noise. I could just imagine the noise and the cars and the people. But this is a street that is my favorite street in all of Italy, because this street is very sentimental to me. I've spent 17 years at the Hotel Croce di Malta, walking up and down this street, hundreds and hundreds of times. And I'm going to focus on this street tonight. So here's another view of it. Nothing special to the passerby, except to me, it's very special. This is the very end of the street where the piazza is located, and that's an outdoor cafe. There's the Piazza Santa Maria Novella with the very famous church of Santa Maria Novella. And now we come to the first venue, and that is the L'Angola della Gelato, located at number 2 Via della Scala. And there it is right there on the corner, next to that painting of the Madonna and Child right there in the corner that's been there for 500 years, I want you to know. And this is what the gelato looks like up close, and how, this is what it looks like when you walk in. This is the inside of the gelato place. Now let me just say that if I'm dying for the best gelato in the world, this is not where I'd go, honestly. I'd go to Vivoli, which is on the other side of town, but it's a 20-minute walk. You don't feel like walking 20 minutes sometimes when you're in the mood to have gelato. So this is where you go, and the gelato here is outstanding. Not quite Vivoli, but very, very good, very presentable, very clean. These are some of my favorite flavors over there. Vanilla and cioccolato, and one of my really top 3, as I've mentioned before, stracciatella, which is chocolate chip. And you can see how they're presented. It's very beautiful. That's what it looks like again from across the street. And the owner of this restaurant, of this Gelateria, is a person named Lydia. So I asked one of my best friends in Italy, Lydia, to go over there and talk to her. And she came back very excited to tell me that she found out that the owner's name is the same name. So she was excited about that. And this is that picture of Roger Crum, the professor at the University of Dayton, who came running in. This is before we actually knew Roger. He came running in to tell us that the best gelato in the world that he's ever tasted is the gelato place on the corner that I just showed you. And he showed us the gelato that he brought on a little spoon. Lydia's cracking up at this, and a book which describes why the gelato was so good, because they use olive oil. So this was the beginning of the friendship with Roger, and I tasted the gelato, and I said to him, but I've tasted this gelato a million times, and he said, okay, what do you think? And I said, well, it's the number 2 gelato in the city of Florence. Anyway, we move on to other places along the street. This is La Cantinetta Wine Bar, which I don't go to that often anymore, but I used to many years ago, especially when I came to Florence alone, and I didn't feel like, kind of spending the evening alone, and Lydia was busy and Luca was busy, so I'd come in here and have a glass of wine. And it's very lively, and it goes well into the night, and it's a very nice place. This is a bar that's right next to the hotel. A bar does not mean just, liquor as it does nowadays. It means, it has snacks and it has some food, and they sell cigarettes and they sell bus tickets. So this is a very nice place that I've been to many, many times. And this is a wine shop that I've gone to a couple of times. It's actually a mini market, so it's kind of like a bodega that has, wine, and I've been there a couple of times, not a lot. This is the restaurant Coccodrillo, which is the restaurant that's attached to the hotel. I don't usually eat here. I have eaten here for breakfast all the time, because that's the breakfast venue for the hotel. But I don't eat dinner here that often because I like to go outside. This is the Hotel Croce di Malta at number 7 Via della Scala. That's me leaning against, the wall of the hotel, of the entrance. And I've stayed in this hotel 17 different times. So I know it very well. I'm going to give you now a tour of the hotel. This is what it looks like as I come from the train station dragging luggage. And this is the sight I see as I'm getting close. And my heart starts to pound at this point, because to me, this is a really great sight to behold. This is me again leaning against, the hotel in a very kind of informative way. This is my hotel, so I kind of take possession of this in a way. This is when you come into the lobby and you take a left, this is the sight you see. This is one of the lobby spots. That desk on the left used to be a very comfortable couch that I used to always sit and stare at people and talk to people, but they moved that away and they now put this desk, which is still fairly nice to sit there. As you head straight ahead, you come to the back of the hotel. It's very beautiful, as you can see. It's really pretty with the concentric circles kind of there going towards the rear. This is one of the lounges on the left side. This was a lounge when I first got here 17 years ago. It then became a tourist agency, so it was kind of off limits to guests because it was part of the travel agency. But it's now back to being a lounge in the hotel that I like very much. It has some very comfortable chairs. Then as you look back to the left, you see the reception area, which I'll talk more about in a little while. And the person at the reception is Luca Roloni, my friend. And that's always a welcome sight when I come through the doors and I see that. And now we're headed back towards the back of the hotel. And you walk up those steps, and don't be too wide-eyed because you'll trip over those steps. And as you go back, you turn to the right, and there's another lounge, which is very comfortable. I've sat here a few times. This is another view of that lounge, looking from a different direction. And they are both lounges are very close to this spot, which is the bar. This is a place I haven't spent that much time, but it's a very pretty bar. And off to the left, which you do not see, is a piano, which I've heard a few times. This is a spot to hang out late in the evening when many of the restaurants and many of the bars are closed. You come here and you can hang out here, and it's kind of fun. This is another lounge as you head back towards the back of the hotel, towards the garden, and it's pretty. It's got places to sit and a beautiful view of their garden. This is another view of it. I've spent a lot of time here. I like this spot. Laura and I sometimes play cards at the tables over there. Sometimes when the dining room is very crowded, I will bring my breakfast in here and have breakfast looking out at the patio. I did an interview at that couch, actually 2 interviews that I'll talk about in a little while. That's what the outdoors looks like, a good shot of the garden. Very pretty. This is a little out of focus. I don't know why, because it was in focus when I think I put it into the album, but maybe it wasn't. This is another part of the lounge where people sometimes have breakfast. This is going outside to the garden. See how pretty that is. And then the sight that beholds your eyes when you get out there is this incredible garden. The original reason why I chose this hotel in 1995 was that this is a really beautiful garden, and as you could see, there's a fountain right over there, which you can't. It's not working at the moment that this picture was taken, but this is what it looks like on a typical summer's morning before anybody has gotten to this spot. But this is the place to come on a hot July or August afternoon to relax and lounge by the pool, which I've done many, many times. This is a new area of the pool that I just noticed with a little seating arrangement. This is the pool from the back of the pool, looking back towards the hotel. And I'm showing this picture because if you look at the second floor balcony, the window right in the middle, that's the room I've had probably about 13 or 14 times. That's room 312, which has been informally renamed Alan's room. So when I call up and I call Luca and say, Luca, we're coming to the hotel, get me a room. This is the room I would like. Most of the time I get it, but sometimes I don't. And I get this amazing view of the garden. And one of the things I used to do when the pool was very crowded is I'd come out to the back balcony and see if there was an empty seat, and then I'd quickly run downstairs to where the empty seat was and I'd claim it. Because in the late afternoon on a summer's day, this is a very crowded area. This is the rooftop of the hotel. So this is yet another lounge you could sit, and you could also bring your breakfast up here and have breakfast. And look at the view you get. Forget Luca and I over there. I'm looking at straight ahead on the left side of the photograph. You get a view of the Palazzo Vecchio, which is quite an amazing sight. So you get this from the roof of the hotel. Here's another view of the roof. And I'm not showing you I'm showing you David over there, my friend David on the right taking a picture. And I'm showing you Luca and I talking over there on the left. But there's a little bar. You can see that kind of semicircular raised table over there. And that's a bar where they serve drinks and other types of food. And people, have meals up there looking out at this incredible view. There's the Duomo over there on the right. There's the Church of San Lorenzo over there on the left. The rooftops, it's a beautiful view. This is looking south towards the Church of San Frediano and Santo Spirito. This is a view to the north, slightly northwest, northeast, wait a minute, okay, looking northeast, and that's the Church of Santa Maria Novella with its campanile and the dome of the Church of San Lorenzo. Back into the hotel, back out towards the entrance to the hotel, and this is what the reception looks like. I do a little narration here. So if Ellen, here it comes. This is the reception at Croce di Malta. And this morning is a very busy morning. There's 3 people at the reception. They're all working very hard. As you can see, there's Sylvia on the right. Luca just came into the scene on the left. There's lots of people here, and they're doing their job extremely well, as they always do it. And everybody is very active back there. This is what it looks like on a typical busy morning at the reception of Croce di Malta. We're hoping that in a few minutes Luca will get to come over here and we'll be able to ask him a few questions, but he's right now very busy and I don't want to disturb him.
Quello che parte domani che arriva ieri e quello che arriva oggi che parte domani, 2 che partono domani. Allora sono 2 gruppi, sì, 46 e 26. First right, there is a bank on the left side of the street and the back. sì, come te l'avevo detto.
A few things. This is Luca at the reception. Now, why am I so fixated on the reception? That's a good question. I love receptions at the hotels. The hotel receptions are, to me, a very, very important part of the hotel. First of all, you know, when there's no one else around for me to talk to, it gives me somebody to talk to who knows really what's going on. But the reception is a place where you go if you have any question whatsoever. Now, you can see that in the previous video, you saw Sylvia talking to some people who wanted directions, and she's pointing, you know, it's over there, and, you know, that's, you know, this microphone has sort of fallen down a little over here, Ellen. Do I need to raise this? So can I raise this up here a little bit? I think it's going to fall again, probably. No, it's, okay, they're going down. I don't know if that's preventing it. Okay. Anyway, I'll keep talking, okay? So the reception is a place where you could get questions answered. You can get advice on restaurants, on sightseeing tours, just anything that's on your mind. You know, you need an extra pillow. You want to know a restaurant to go to. It's a very wonderful place. So that's why I love receptions, and that's why I've decided to spend a little time talking about this. Let me wait until Ellen gets back to the sound, because now I'm going to show you another video. This is my interview with my friend Luca, who agreed to give me the interview. So here it goes right now. So Luca has a little free time right now, and I'm going to be, first let me introduce Luca Roloni, who works at the reception, and as you know, he's also a very good friend of mine, and he's consented to give us a few minutes to talk to us a little bit. So first let me welcome you to Alan's Italy, Luca.
Thank you, Alan.
And thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you.
Now, you've been working at the reception the longest of anybody, right? So
Yes, that's correct.
how long have you been here?
Well, my first day here at Croce di Malta was December 9, 1983, so almost 29 years ago.
Wow. So you obviously like your job very much.
Very, very much. I love this job, yes.
And my question is, you know, was this what you wanted to do when you were a child and growing up? And, you know, is this kind of what you were looking forward to doing?
This is exactly what I wanted to do. I was 13, 14 years old, and also I had in mind that I wanted to do the hotel school. That's all I wanted to do. Hotel school, 4 years, and then I started to work in a hotel. And I'm still here. I'm still working in a hotel.
Right.
Because this is the job I love.
Right. And you are the glue that holds together the bricks of the reception, because without you, I don't know what would happen.
Oh, thank you.
Now, you speak a few languages, right? So what languages do you speak?
Well,
And don't be modest here. Just tell us.
well, of course, when you work in a hotel, you have to speak at least two languages, or at least few things you have to know. Like, so English and French. My French is better, honestly. It's better than my English.
Okay, I've heard you speak French and I've heard you speak English. And in my opinion, your English is just as good as your French, but you seem a little more relaxed with your French than you do with the English.
Exactly, yes.
And more
language.
confident. So why is that?
No, because French is a language that's really closer to Italian. It's Latin, so it's easier. Although it's a difficult language, it's easier to study and to speak French. Although English is a very easy language.
Right. Okay. Well, okay, so you speak English, French, and of course Italian.
And of course Italian.
So everybody's required to know 2 languages in addition to Italian.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and you learn that in hotel school?
In a hotel school.
Okay. Now, sometimes your hours are very strange. Now, last night you were here until about 11 o'clock, and then you told me you were going home, and you were going to then get about 4 hours sleep and come back the next morning and be here at 6. Is that very difficult for you?
Sometimes, yes, I have to admit. But you know, I'm used to. I'm doing this since 1991, so more than 20 years. From Florence to the country and back to Florence. So I should say that 3-4 hours per night, it's enough for me.
Right. Okay. Well, that's amazing because I saw you last night at 11, and you know, you seemed like, you know, as fresh as a daisy. You know what that expression means?
Yes, yes, sir.
And you seem exactly the same now, so it's pretty amazing. And you know, you're not as old as I am, but you know, do you think that it'll be difficult for you as you get older?
Yes, that's
Yes,
for sure. Yes,
of
I'm
course.
expecting that. But I want to talk to someone somewhere and say that maybe it's not the case to continue like this. I mean, just coming at 7 and until 3 o'clock is enough.
Right. Now, you were born where?
In Florence.
In Florence. And how long did you live in Florence when you were?
For 27 years.
Right. And then where did you go? Did you move then to Panzano? Is that when you went to Panzano?
Yes, correct. I moved to Panzano for about 10 years.
For 10 years.
For 10
And then you moved to Figline
And
Valdarno.
then I moved to Figline Valdarno.
So you've only lived in those 3 places?
Yes.
Pretty amazing. Well, Luca, thank you very much for being with us, and I really appreciate this very much.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
now back to work. Okay, so that's my interview with Luca, and I also got another interview. This is Silvia Martella, who is a lovely young woman, and she consented to give me an interview, and this is the interview that you will now be seeing. Okay, so once again, Ellen, here comes the interview.
When?
Okay, so Alan's Italy is I'm in my favorite hotel, Croce di Malta, which is on Via della Scala in Firenze, my favorite city. And I'm honored to have with me today one of the people who work at the reception. I love the people at the reception. They've always been very helpful to me over the years. And I have with me a volunteer for a little interview. Her name is Silvia Martella.
Yes.
Welcome to Alan's
Thank
Italy.
you very much.
And you love your job.
I do, yes. I
Why?
really love your
Tell us why.
especially because I'm like in a family here. I know my colleague, we are all friends, and also the owner are really friendly and very, very kind. So I feel like to be in a family, and for me working is like a pleasure. So for me also it's better to help people, to give information, because I'm okay here, so I feel good and fine to help people who come visit us. So.
Now, do you think that that's true in all hotels, or is it this hotel that really gives this feeling of friendliness and family? You think it's the hotel?
I think that is the hotel. First of all, because the owner are a family, a big family. And then because it's, for me it's like to be in a home.
Right, right.
I can work every day, but the same feeling that I have when I am at home. So for me it's like the second family, and it's because of maybe also a building that seems to be a house. It's not a very ultra modern hotel with all the I don't know, equipment or I don't know, furniture, very modern.
Right.
But we are simple, but I think is what people can like.
Now, do you have friends who work in other hotels?
I have a friend that worked for a little while to another hotel.
Don't mention the hotel.
No, I want.
But so did she feel or he feel differently from?
Yes, because she worked in a 4-star hotel, not in the historical heart of Florence, but outside. And the manager, the owner, was the same manager and owner, stayed always looking after her. She couldn't make more of that job because the owner was afraid that she could do something that was not pertinent to her. So she wasn't she didn't feel okay at work.
Right.
So she just worked there for 6 months and then she changed the job.
How long have you been, were you at any other hotel before this, or this was your beginning?
This is my
And how
first
long have you been here?
Since 2006.
Right, so 6 years. Right.
Yes, 6 years.
And do you feel, were you very nervous when you first started? Like, or did you always feel, you seem like a very self-confident person. And you're very, very outgoing, and you're just wonderful, really.
No, thank you.
And did it take you time to get acclimated to the job? And
No, you know what? I knew them before starting
I
working
see.
here because they owned a travel agency and I used to work there.
I see.
So I already knew Francesco, Simone, and all the
Right.
people
Right.
of the family. So, and also I started working with a woman that she's not here anymore working in this business, but so it was simple to start
Right.
working also
Yes.
in that travel agency.
Now you've had to, you needed training for this. So you went to special school to learn how to do the job, right?
At school I made something that was for tourism, Istituto
Right.
Tecnico. But then working here, I mean, for me, tourism, I knew the word of tourism more or less because
Yes,
I work in a travel agency. And then I always called here every day to make a reservation, so I
Right.
knew all the people working at the reception. So it was like the difference because the job was different with respect to the travel agent, but it was they helped me a lot.
Right.
Luca also, it was
Yes.
very passionate.
As you know, Luca is one of my closest friends.
Yes,
And
I know.
We're like brothers, really.
I can imagine, I know this.
Yeah, it's a wonderful relationship. And he's always, everybody at the front desk. The first person that I worked with on the front desk was Daniela,
Ah, okay,
who
yes.
was back in 1995 or 1996, and she was very helpful. And I just got to know everybody. So, do you live in Firenze, or do you live outside of Firenze?
No, I live outside the historical city center, but near the airport. So from here
Oh,
it's
right, I
15
know.
minutes by
Right.
scooter.
You take a scooter to get here.
Yes, because you can't come here with the car unless you are guest in some
Right.
hotel or you live here. So by scooter, just 15 minutes, and
Right.
I'm at work.
And just one last thing. In your free time, do you come back into Firenze, to do things like eat in restaurants and maybe go to some
Yes.
kind of events? You do. So
Yeah,
Firenze,
yes.
it's a great place. I mean, I've been here 16 times, 17 times.
That's why.
We both
Yeah.
share that love. Well, Sylvia, thank you
Anna.
very,
Thank you very
much.
much. Thank you to you.
Stop it right there and continue on. This is me with Francesca, who used to work at the reception, and she no longer does. Now she works in the administrative offices, but she was, always very helpful to me. This is the owner of the hotel. This is Simone Brogi. And I did an interview with Simone, but he was in very bad shape that week. He had a very bad cold, and I said we don't have to do the interview. He graciously consented to do the interview, even though he was feeling really very poorly. And when he saw the interview, he decided that he didn't really want to see it on TV because he was feeling kind of poorly. But it was a very nice interview. He's a very lovely man, very good-looking man, as you could see. And he told me that he grew up in the hotel, and during his training to become one of the general managers of the hotel, being the general manager, his father and mother owned the hotel, and his family. He, actually worked at the reception, and then he worked in the restaurant, and, to become well-trained. So I'd like to just thank him very much for that, wonderful interview that he gave me. I want to do a quick video here. It's 1 minute and 17 seconds. There is a little talking in it, so we could put up the sound, I guess, on this as well, Alan, okay? So here we go.
Allora facciamo così, lei arriva prima delle 7, perché alle 7 arriva il pullman della Trafalgar.
The reception again.
7:15, 7:10, 7:15. Va bene. Certo. Ah, ok, bene, grazie.
The reception at this moment is being run by two people
No, perché
whose combined ages is only maybe 43. It's amazing. They're wonderful young ladies and they're wonderful reception people, and it's just, look at them together. Quite amazing.
Sì, va bene, certo.
I'm going around to the other side now.
Pullare i bagagli prima di metterli. Ah. Va bene, allora domani. Grazie, arrivederci, buonasera.
Two lovely ladies. The lady on the left is her name is Bercy. The lady on the right is Federica, and between the two of them, their ages add up to 43. And I just found it really cute that these two incredibly intelligent and wonderful young ladies were running the reception that morning. So you know, they're great, and they're part of the reception. And I thank them also for letting me, you know, do a video of them working very, very hard. Okay, here's some other views of the hotel. This is from the room that I have looking out. That's looking down at the pool area, just to show you what that looks like again from high up this time. One of the lobbies on the 3rd floor, the roofs, the rooftops, one last shot of the pool, some more rooftops. I'm moving fast now because I have a couple of other things to do and I need to move. Now we're out of the hotel, walking towards Lydia's store, past Via Porcellana, and we come to Gioia Chiara, which is Lydia's leather store at number 11, Via della Scala. That's what it looks like from across the street. And as you get closer, this is, you know, what it looks like. And you go through that door and you come into her store. That's Lydia on the left with her friend Marco in the middle, and that's me. And we've spent a lot of time in this, you know, store shooting the breeze, and it's, you know, it's like a little soap opera. Everybody just kind of hangs out there, and people come in, you get all their stories and all their, you know, heartaches and happiness and jokes and all the things. So, you know, it's a very nice place. This is some of her products. Lydia makes magnificent handbags, ladies' handbags, and wallets, and there are some umbrellas and belts and keychains and a variety of other things. There's Lydia dealing with one of the customers. In this case, it happens to be my photographer, Laura Gurton. There's some more things. This is her front window, which shows you all the things that she has in the store. Some more handbags up on the shelf. And I want to get very quickly to the interview. I did an interview with her, and this is, I'll try to do as much as I can, as it's 5 minutes long. So Alan's Italy is in Firenze, my favorite city in the world other than Woodstock. And I'm on my favorite street, Via della Scala, other than Tinker Street. And this is my friend Lydia Lo Schiavo, who is the proprietor of the store Gioia Chiara. As you could see, it's a leather store. And I met Lydia in 1995, and she's been my friend since then. And I consider her a very close friend, and I love her very much. And I would like to ask you, if I may, some questions about this wonderful store that I've been coming to for all these years. So let's go back to the beginning. Who is the person who started the business?
My grandfather.
Okay, and his name was?
Luigi.
Luigi. So he started it in what year?
In 1948.
Right, and tell me the story about his former job and that whole story. He was a
policeman, and one day he decided I don't want to make a policeman, And I bought a bag, disassembled this bag, and he make again another one. And from there starts to make this job.
So did he sell the products for his family, or I mean, did he sell it to friends of his to start with?
I start to sell to the other store, to the shop.
Oh, so it was wholesale.
And he made the bag and he tried to sell to the shop at the beginning. And then little by little he has more customer and they asked him.
And that was 64 years ago. Because I know that your phone is ringing, but
Yeah.
can we keep talking?
Yes.
Even though the phone's
Sure.
ringing? Okay. Of course, this is a working store. Lydia gets in here, what time in the morning?
7:30.
7:30, and doesn't close the store
Until 7:30.
until 7:30. So Lydia's in the store for 12 hours. Do you go out for lunch or something like that?
An hour.
An hour for lunch. Always to La Spada?
No.
Other stores as well.
Well, yes.
Okay, so, Lydia's here all day long. And when I think of her as standing there, waiting on customers, and me sitting on one of these stools. That's the way it's been for the past, 17 years. Now, so he started this business, and when was the first time that you actually had a store, a retail store?
Just in 1989.
And who started that store?
My family and I.
Right. But you have always been the person who operated the store, correct?
Yes, or Chiara, my sister.
Right. And your mother was always home, but everybody made products.
Yes.
So did each person have their own specialty?
No, we can make everything.
Right. And it used to be also Annalisa and Mario, right? Your brother?
Sometimes, but now, not now.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And so in 1989 you had the store on, name the street, I have a very hard time with these streets.
It was in Via Palazzuolo.
Right, and that's a street that's actually parallel to this, more towards the river. And you moved to this location, go ahead, tell.
To Via della
Oh
Scala.
no, you were first down the street
Yes.
from 1993
till 1998.
Now you didn't, and we met you in 1995, my ex-wife and I, and we said that the store is a little small. You should get a larger store, and you should get a store with a bathroom, because to get to the bathroom you had to go next door.
Outside, yeah.
But that wasn't the reason you got the bigger store. You were thinking about that for a long time, right?
Yeah, we need a bigger store because it was very, very small. It was 18 meters square,
Right.
so it was very, very small.
Right, and this is much bigger, of course. So, and you moved here in, let me see, in November of 1998, and you've been here ever since,
Yeah.
right? And it's a wonderful store, and this is a wonderful person. Go ahead. Could you show the products and everything? Very good. Show the products. We've showed the products, and there's no need to do that, and I'm kind of in need of time. This is, Lydia mentioned her sister, Chiara. That's Chiara with her son, Jacopo. And Chiara also sometimes is in the store itself. That's her family. We took them out to lunch in Anghiari one afternoon. Now, the next store next to Lydia's store is a mailbox store where I've sent a lot of things home. That's a laundromat that I've used a couple of times. A funny story is that I was bringing a lot of clothes to the laundromat, passing the store. Lydia comes running out and says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm bringing clothes to the laundromat." She says, "I'll do it for you," brings it home and does it and brings it back to me completely folded. This is an 800-year-old perfume store called the Officina Profuma Farmaceutica on Santa Maria Novella. This is from the 12th century, and this place is very beautiful. It's actually a tourist attraction because people come in here, and you can see that it's really beautiful, and it's very, it's hundreds of years old, and they have perfume and soaps and other fragrances, and it's a very beautiful store. Look at that marble on the floor and statues around it, and that's where people come to buy the stuff. Displays that are very beautiful. There's a statue. There's what the ceiling looks like, frescoed. Very beautiful place. And now I really have to move fast because I know I'm running out of time. This is Dolce Forte, which is a food specialty store at Via della Scala number 21. They have just delicious things, mostly too sweet for my taste, but I do enjoy some of the things. A really beautiful store. That's Elena, who owns the store, and I'd recommend this store very much if you want to get some sweets. And the final thing I'm going to show you in the next 30 seconds, that's all I have, is Grotto di Leo, which is the restaurant that I've eaten in many times. The best part about this restaurant is that it's open like 22 hours a day. So you can come in here anytime. It has an outdoor section. That's what it looks like inside. It's very beautiful. That's the menu. They have a million different kinds of pizzas that are, in my opinion, the best in town. And this is a wonderful place. His name is Alexander, who is a waiter who's been there for many years. And this is continuing down Via della Scala, past some of the other hotels, going all the way to the end of the street, around the corner to the bus station, and finally to the train station. So that, ladies and gentlemen, rushing at the end, is my favorite street in Florence, Via della Scala. It was a pleasure to bring it to you, and I will see you next week. Buonanotte e buona fortuna.